Hey guys, we're live on the moon, and I'm going to kind of move around. It is a full moon, and uh, I showed you, I gave you a sneak peek of my Barlow, and I'm still experimenting with it, and it's too windy for it right now, so I'm not going to. I'm stretching to just get this one in. I've had here. I live in Richmond, Texas, and if you look at the weather, you'll see that the uh, the winds have been aloft for the last 3 days, and I think they're going to be aloft for the next 4. So rather than just pack it in and not do anything, I'm coming out, and hopefully the noise cancellation on this audio won't be an issue. If the telescope buffets real far or moves quite a bit, it's going to be the wind. Wanted to let you know, if you haven't watched my little Barlow demonstration, I probably shouldn't have put it that. I was so excited I just had to post that. If you look at that first frame, you will see that that there is a crater with a globular silver dome in the middle of it. Now, I've seen photos of that on the internet, so I know that's a real thing, and it wasn't an aberration on the camera. It was the real thing. I don't know what it is. More than likely, it's some kind of alien base or or something like that. Who knows? And then as you went in, you saw me experimenting with the controls and trying to get the lens is very sensitive. I want you to look at something real close here. If you look on the images that's scrolling by, it's hard to see, but it should come out. There's a little thing right there it's not on the Barlow, but when you do the Barlow, it comes out. I changed Barlows out earlier this evening, and it didn't take care of that. I cleaned off the 90 degrees. It didn't take care of it. I do have a moon filter on there, and it might be on the moon filter on the inside. I'll eventually track down the source of the problem, but that Barlow has a tendency to bring out any speck of dust on a lens or whatever. You're just going to get clear. Look how bright these are right now. I don't know. I watched Henning's spectacular video of the moon from last night. It's 2 hours. And he also noted all these lights, points of light, guys. Fantastic stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a survey. We're just going to go down a little bit, and then we're going to go across. It's been a while since I've done the cross section. And there's my dragon. The head, the foot front, the foot rear, and that is the wings of the dragon. I've discovered why they make observatories. Well, maybe to keep out the rain, but probably more than likely to keep out the light, but more importantly to keep the wind from blowing on the telescope. This is a pretty heavy telescope, yet it's still. Now look at all the detail. I don't think we've ever seen such detail. They look like hieroglyphics. Look at that little doggy. And this looks like a calico cat. One of these days I'll give you the treat of the full cross section of the moon with the Barlow, but I'm not going to do that unless it's a absolutely calm night, because you can see on this camera how it goes in and out. Sometimes you can see it's just the heat waves and everything, but it is a windy night tonight, and doesn't that look like a dome too, with something in it? Maybe that's what we were looking at real close. I find the moon fascinating. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the wind, and I mean, I do live upstairs. It's a two-story house. First story, I have a garage and a shop, and you know, I get a breeze up here every once in a while, keeps the bugs down. But I think been thinking about it, and ordered a room divider. You know, one of these there's the wind, folding room dividers. And what I'll do is I'll try to set that up. The wind is typically either blows from the right or blows from the left. If it's blowing from the right, I'll put it at the right side of the telescope, to kind of protect the telescope from the wind. Sounds like a reasonable thing to do, and we'll see if that helps with the wind. I took some footage of my setup with my isn't that beautiful? I can't get over the coloration. The flip takes a hell of a good picture and everything, but it has a real lousy microphone when there's a slight breeze, and you can hear this thing rattle and rattle and rattle, and I decided that I needed to do that whole thing over again, because it was just very, very difficult to understand some of the words. Now, whether you know it or not, I have two air conditioners running full bore behind me, and the noise cancellation. Look at that little. It looks like an eye. Doesn't it look like an eye with little craters all around it? The noise cancellation, it does look like an eye. Look at that. I'll let it settle down here. Looks like an eye. Right below a moon base. Anyhow, the noise cancellation is pretty good. And so I think our audio will be okay, unless we really get a breeze. I've noted one thing about Henning's setup. He has the same scope, but except a smaller model and a different mount. This particular telescope has tracking, different kinds of tracking, I think, than is available on the other scope. And one of them is called lunar tracking. And with lunar tracking, it basically will be rock steady on the moon. If I stop this, like right there, besides the aberrations of the wind and everything, that clock mechanism should keep it pretty much beam on without variance, and it's amazing. The other kind of tracking, these are spectacular pictures, guys. There's something calming about watching video of the moon. One of Henning's subscribers wrote to him and said that he basically watches moon videos and has them on the TV and turns the volume down just so he can relax. And I'm finding myself, I watch these things, and it's very relaxing to watch these videos, because they are kind of becalming. Look at this. I called it a lake, a mar, an ocean, and it's got these. It looks like it's on crystal, and it's got these little points of light. Just amazing. Just amazing stuff. I'm very deliberately not telling you the name of the craters yet, because if something's important, I'll name it myself. And as I do these surveys, you'll become familiar with the ground. You'll know that dragon is right there all the time. He's right there. And eventually we'll have a name for it, probably, or something related to it. And so you'll have a familiarity with my my ferret and my dragon and my mushroom forest, and before you know it, there might be some other things that pop out. But eventually I will be using the formal names of these craters, not all at once. And to do so, I have a fabulous, absolutely fabulous program on my iPad. It's called Moon HD. And look at that. That's stunning. And Moon HD, it's kind of like that Star Walk program I showed you two videos ago, when I was showing you my setup and I went and tried to explain the tilting of the moon, and I used that Star Walk program. Well, the Moon HD, it's just about the moon. And when you hit now on that, it knows your coordinates and knows the date and time, and it shows you what moon is in the quarter. And you can orient the moon, like if you're watching it inverted or left-right inverted or north-south inverted, or what you can do, all combinations. So when I'm looking at the moon and I know where I'm at, I can go right in there on that thing and blow it up. I mean, with my fingers, pinch them wide and go in close, and get the names of all the craters and I mean history, the width. Mike was asking, how wide is that crater? And I said, I don't know. Well, if I had that Moon HD in front of me, I'd tell you right away. And I'll be using that exclusively to help me navigate around. Additionally, that program has, well, we're back in a different place. I've been fighting a problem, and I get the infamous blue screen of death every once in a while, and I think I finally isolated the problem. I think the focus controller, for some reason, is ill-behaved. There must be a DMA device conflict or an IRQ interrupt conflict. So I've completely taken it out of the circuit now, and we'll see if it stays up. Look there, it looks like a happy face. You got a mouth, a nose. I can't see the eyes, but that's okay. Anyhow, I was talking about this program, Moon HD, and one of the neat things about it, it has all the Apollo landing sites. and so I'll be using it to help educate ourselves on where they are on the moon. I really believe there are bases on the moon, and I believe with the Barlow we might have a chance of seeing something up close. And that is beautiful, 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 guys. Look at that crater. Absolutely stunning. I wanted to mention I kind of go through an awful lot of stuff on the YouTube about the moon, and go through some of these videos that people have. You probably all have heard of Google Earth, and with Google Earth, you know, they come up with all different kinds of weird things, because it is actually a picture of the Earth. Well, they also have one for Mars. It's called Google Mars. You can go on Mars. Look at that stuff. Turn the saturation up just a bit. And Google Mars is really neat. Well, they have one called Google Moon, and it's based on NASA photos, and it's got both the front side and the far side of the moon. And this guy found a moon base on one of the poles of the moon. I mean, you can go in there, and there's a cavern system, and you can go down about 3 or 4 layers, and you can see these buildings down there and everything. I mean, it blew me away. Incredible stuff, guys. So I know there's stuff up there, and I think NASA's keeping everything a secret from you and me. I think it is run by the Illuminati, and who knows what kind of stuff they're hiding, but I think they are. I don't know if you're aware, but over a couple days ago, NASA did release a picture of Ellen that was taken there with the Soho. And I mean, you can see the comet trail and everything. It's clear as daylight. It is real. It's real, real, real. You're also aware that that NASA has recently had a public service announcement for all 90,000 employees, basically telling them that, you know, you need to be prepared for the for anything that might just happen to come down. And you're aware of the fact that on September 26th, Ellen, this comet that has caused earthquakes to occur at Fukushima in Japan and Chile. I mean, this thing is, they pegged it on the alignment of Ellen with the sun. And when it's aligned with the sun and with Ellen and Earth, then you got an earthquake. Well, guess what's going to happen on the 26th? We have another alignment, big one, the biggest one. Guess where Obama's going to be for 3 days, 4 days over that period? Denver, Colorado. You know what Denver, Colorado is? well, it's been designated as the location of the second White House. I mean, they got a command and control center below Denver International Airport. Jesse Ventura went up there and did a special on it. I mean, that thing, it's a complex. It's 40 miles by 40 miles underground, the largest underground complex for the government in the world. And he's going to be up there on the 26th whenever this new alignment occurs. Well, guess what? About 3 days ago, NASA announced that they're going to have a very, very special presentation up in Denver, and it's going to last about 3 or 4 weeks. And it's going to be a very special presentation on the space station and a whole bunch of other things. That's beautiful. All of the elite of NASA are going to be in Denver on the 26th of September. Now you cogitate on that one for a little bit. I've had some of my friends, they say, well, you're just looking at doom and gloom. And I mean, I'm not looking at nothing. I'm just looking at the facts. Looking at the facts, Jack. I don't know what's up. I really don't know what's up. I think that certain things are going to start happening, though. If you believe your Bible and you read your Bible and you've read Revelation 12, you realize that the 12 stars are going to be in the constellation with the tiara of Ellen, and the sun is a breastplate, and Saturn and Venus at the belt, and below at the foot is the moon. And I've looked on the internet and I've seen the videos of the people that have taken the solarium programs and things like that and analyzed that verse, and it all happens on the the conjunction happens exactly on the 29th of this month. Revelation chapter 12 is going to be fulfilled. I mean, look at that. I'm going to go down just a little bit more. I saw those the other day. Remember those like posts? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hornet nests with lights on top. Revelation 12 is going to be fulfilled on the 29th of this month. What's at the start of? The Feast of Trumpets. Guess what old Bill thinks? Bill thinks that that could be the start of the trumpet judgments. That's a heralding call for the beginning of something, and I think it's a beginning of events of the tribulation. No, I don't think the tribulation starts on the 29th. I indicated that before, but I don't believe that. I believe that the tribulation will start on probably a March 21st or 24th, whenever the Antichrist goes in the temple as the abomination of desolation, as Jesus Christ indicated, and he declares himself to be God. And that will mark the beginning of the Great Trib. And the Great Trib will be 3.5 years. But this conjunction, this alignment on the 26th, followed by the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 12 on the 29th. I think it's the 29th, 28th, 29th, and 30th of the 3 days of the feast. Then you got all these subliminal things that are happening, like when Obama gave his presentation on 9/11, and he basically quoted, I think it was Psalm 43. Read that. Read it. Get your Bible out and read it. What's it talking about? It's talking about the destruction of the world. Things happening. Even though the world is destroyed, the Lord's still there. Well, that's true. Why is Obama talking about that? Maybe because he knows the world's going to be destroyed. I don't know, guys. I'm just soaking all this stuff in, trying to figure it all out. So what did I figure out? I don't know. I figured out that something might be happening. Ellen probably is real, but I think they're hiding something. Something's coming behind Ellen, and they're not telling us the whole deal. That is absolutely stunning stuff, guys. That is absolutely stunning stuff. Can you imagine when I do this with that Barlow? I need to warn you about the Barlow. First of all, it's not going to be super crisp and clear. There's several kinds of noise pollution. Noise pollution in the air where I live, it's pretty high. Although not as high as Houston. I live in Richmond in the country. Now, if you really want to get away from the light, it's called light pollution. Light is meaning noise. Light pollution to your telescope is noise. And light pollution is high in a city area. You can go to Brazos Bend State Park, which is about 20 minutes from where I live. Isn't that beautiful stuff? Brazos Bend's got an observatory. The Georges Observatory. I mean, a full-blown observatory down there, guys. And Mike and I have been talking about taking our scopes down there because they're far enough away from Houston that, the light pollution is not there. You say, well, what can you do about light pollution? Well, it's not too much of a problem with the moon because the moon's putting out light. But when you go to look at the nebula, isn't that beautiful? There's our happy face again. One thing you can do, amateur astronomers will use a special filter. I've been using this one filter on the telescope for the moon, and it, I think, cuts down the glare of the moon. Well, there's another filter called a UHC filter, ultra high prominence or contrast, I don't know. But what it does, it's designed for looking at nebula in light polluted skies, and it really does a pretty good job. Like one of the things that I did last night, I was looking at the moon with my Barlow, and then, I kind of lost it with the roof. I got this porch, and I look at the color. That's just stunning. Stunning. And so what I did is I took off my camera and I put on a regular lens, and I started looking at, put on a 33 millimeter lens, and I pointed the telescope at Venus, and it came in so sharp, and I mean, and all the moons. lined up like ducks on a pond. It was beautiful. And I said, man, I got to get this on video. So I tried it with my camera, and I couldn't get it for the life of me. I couldn't get it. And I'm not good enough to do that yet. And I'm trying to take all this astronomy stuff in baby steps so I can learn. It's like at Barlow. I'm going to chew on it when it's not as windy. I have a friend from I don't know if he's in Wales or UK. He's over there. He's been watching my videos and he's given me really good advice. And there's that very strange lineup. And basically he told me the best way to focus, especially with the Barlow, is you turn the saturation all the way down. That means it's going to be black and white, no color. Like right now my saturation is 6. If I turned it all the way down, all that color, I'll do it right now to show you. Now it's black and white. 6, 7, 8, I'll leave it at 6. Well, you noted when you turn the color all the way down, it's black and white, but things are maybe a little more crisper. So you can basically take your camera to the edge of the moon and fine-tune it right there. And I've been learning, I kind of think that once you really get the focus set up, you don't have to go and mess with the focus all the time like I've been doing. I think get it right, and it'll be right. And see, with the Barlow, it's so critical to get it right on. That if the wind blows and you're watching with the Barlow, it'll look like an earthquake occurred. So I'm going to vow that I'm not going to do the Barlow unless it's perfectly calm, because it's going to be more difficult because it's not going to be as clear. And that brings up the other thing I wanted to say about the noise. There is such a thing as noise and the light pollution in the sky, but noise interference. As you start to increase the magnification, the image becomes less dim and less clear. So you'll see that's like this is a real clear image with the definition. Well, you won't have quite that definition with the Barlow. So you have to train your eyes when you're looking at a survey with the Barlow to look. You can see pebbles. You can see real close, but you don't have the fine definition of it. And then when you go up to a Barlow times 3, then you're really going to look at those 3 little, look like 1, 2, 3 lined up like ducks on a pond. Then you really have a problem. So I decided I'm going to work my way up to it, and I'll get the 2 times Barlow on a real calm night, and I'll make a full survey of the moon, and we'll see. I guarantee you, we will see things on that video, and you'll see things that I don't see when I'm talking, because there's just so much. This screen is filled with so much information. And if you're looking in one part of the screen, you'll miss something else on the bottom. And when a Barlow, you're in twice as close as you are right now. I'm looking forward to doing it, but it's going to be on a calm night. Houston's been, Richmond's been like 105, 106 degrees. Let me just stop right there. See that aberration right there? See that? I thought I was blaming it on the Barlow, but it just, that comes out, and that is either on my camera. I don't know where it is. I'll figure out where it is. But that's the other thing about the Barlow. The Barlow has a tendency to amplify whatever's there, with, albeit with more granularity, but you can see closer. Look, that looks like a little dome right there too. I sincerely believe that this moon is a home base for fallen angels. And if you want a fallen base, you go to the far side of the moon, friend, and you're going to have a whole boatload of bases. And I think NASA knows all about them. Sure enough. They ain't telling. And I think the president, everybody in NASA, at least the hierarchy, the guys at the top, know exactly what's coming down, and that's why they're going to Denver, and that's why they're going to be at Denver when this next alignment occurs on September 26th. Now, what in the hell is going to happen? I have no idea. Let me go down a little bit. There's my marker, though. I can't imagine how people can, right now in this day and age, ignore all these facts and just put their head in the sand and not acknowledge what's coming down. Not preparing in some way, getting a couple weeks of food, a month's worth of food, or just something. I mean, something's going to happen. We know biblically something's going to happen on the 28th, 29th, 30th. It's called the fulfillment of Revelation 12. You say, well, I don't believe that, Bill. Well, okay. Okay. The fact remains, that little comet, I don't think caused all those earthquakes. And now that NASA's come out with the photos and everything, that I believe that it probably exists. But I believe that the real problem is what is behind Ellen. The brown dwarf, the guy with all the mass, the guy that's causing all the alignment problems and earthquakes. So yeah, you're guessing. You really don't know. But you take all these little facts, all these little things that happen, and you scratch your head. Why are all the military personnel moving away from the coast in convoys into the interior of the country? Why did the military take over all the cave systems in Missouri? Can you give me a reason for that? There's some things that just aren't. See, it doesn't want to go to the right. Well, there it goes that way. It's kind of like it. Every once in a while, just. I showed you that clicker on that video that I did, and it seems like every once in a while it just doesn't want to respond quite right. So old Bill, he just kind of like a sponge and soaks in all this stuff, and he scratches his head and wonders what in the hell's going on. I really don't know. Oh, now let me show you what's happening. Let's stop it right there. See how it's darker than it was before? Seems like everything's getting dark, doesn't it? Guess what, guys? My telescope's running into the roof. I have a window of time that I can use to do the moon. It was so windy early. I mean, I decided I was going to wait until it died down a little bit, so I kind of deliberately waited until about 11:30, but that only gave me an hour or so to do this video, so that's plenty of time. We uh, we we covered quite a bit of distance. Let me go down south. See how it's getting darker? I think that's a good place to stop. Okay, guys. I hope you and yours are having a wonderful week, and don't worry about what I've just talked about it. I don't know, and just be aware of it. Just put it in the back of your mind. Something happens, you can pull it out and say, "Well, I've heard about that somewhere. Oh yeah, Bill was talking about that." You know, it might be prudent to get a little water, maybe some peanut butter and jelly for some sandwiches or something to prepare for the unknown. That's only I learned that in the Boy Scouts. What's the motto of the Boy Scouts? Be prepared, guys. Be prepared. Clear skies, guys.